Hello everyone, welcome back to Prep Pro Papers. We were solving for TIFR JGEEBILS previous year question, and today we are solving the part 2 of the 2023 paper, which is the section of physics. Let's start with the questions. The first question says the diagram below represents a periodic wave. Which point on the wave is 90 per degree out of the phase with point P? So we know for 90-degree phase, a 90-degree phase difference means that one point is 1/4 of a cycle, either ahead or behind the another point. So let's check upon the P is here. Let's consider that a full wave will be from here to here, or maybe from here to here. Uh, so if this distance is lambda, so this distance will be lambda by 4. This will be lambda by 4. This lambda by 4, lambda by 4, and this will be also lambda by 4 and lambda by 4. So from the point P, the distance which is a quarter ahead or behind is point B. So the correct option is option number B. As the distance between the P and B is exactly 1/4 of a wavelength, this means they are impacted by a 90-degree phase difference. Let's move to the next question. An electric circuit has two parallel plate capacitors C1 and C2 in series. Both capacitors have the same dielectric and interplate distance, but the plates C1 have a higher surface area compared to those in C2. Once fully charged, which one of the two capacitors will have a high voltage drop? So coming to the question, we have two capacitors C1 and C2. Both capacitors have the same dielectric and the interface distance is also same, but the plates in the C1 have higher surface area compared to those in this C2. Once fully charged, which one of the two capacitors will have a high voltage drop? So same charge flows, but the voltage drop across each capacitor can differ based upon their capacitance, and the capacitance formula is the dielectric constants multiplied by the area divided by the d. This is the permittivity of the dielectric. So we know that as A1 is greater than the A2, so C1 will be greater than the C2. Now we know the voltage drop is equal to Q upon C. Since C1 is greater than C2, so V2 will be greater than the V1, which will be having a higher voltage drop, capacitor C2. Next question says, which of the following best represents the graph shown below? So, okay, let's say this is the graph of y is equal to e to the power x, but let's say other graph, y is equal to x squared. So this is the graph of y is equal to x squared. For y is equal to log x, the graph will look, we consider the base to be e, will be like this. For y is equal to log e to the power x, and for log root x, it will be somewhere like this. So the correct option is option number B, y is equal to e to the power x. Next question says, what is the value of the current in I given below? So let's check upon the resistance first. 100 ohm and 150 ohm are in series. So the next resistance here will be 250 ohm if we add them. Now these 50 and 200 are in parallel. So series of series parallel will become 1 upon 50 plus 1 upon 200 upon R parallel will become 4 plus 1 upon 200. R parallel will become 200 by 5 is 40. This is 40 ohm. Net resistance will be 250 ohm plus 40 ohm, that is 290 ohm. We know according to Ohm's law V is equal to IR. So I will become V upon R, that is 6 volt upon 290 ohm resistance, that will come out to be 0.0207 ampere. Let's check upon the option. This option number 3. Now let's move to the next question. Again a factual question. A decibel is a measure of, the answer is the amplitude of the sound. Next question says, a bullet with same density as the water is shot straight down into a very deep water tank. What happens after sufficient time? So here the density is same. So the point where the buoyant force, that is the upward force, will be equal to the gravitational force, will be the point where this bullet will stop. So for the initial part, the bullet will come down because of the gravitational force. Then because of the buoyant force, it will stop. As the density was same as of the bullet and the water, it will halt at the intermediate depth. Option number 1. Reaction P has delta H less than 0 and delta S greater than 0, while reaction Q has delta H greater than 0 and delta S greater than 0. Which of the following is true? Okay, so we know Gibbs free energy formula says delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S, where delta G determines the spontaneity of a reaction. So for the reaction P, where delta H is less than 0 and delta S is greater than 0, we know that delta G is delta H minus T delta S. Here delta H will be negative term, delta S will be in the positive term, delta G will come into negative. Thus it will be spontaneous at every temperature, because at any temperature addition of those two negative values will be in negative. So P is a spontaneous reaction. For reaction Q, delta H is greater than 0 and delta S is also positive. Again delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. Delta H is here positive and delta S is getting positive. This will be true, but at higher temperature, the T delta S term can outweigh delta H, making delta G negative. So it will be spontaneous only at higher temperature. This will minus in negative value only at higher temperature. So the correct option is option number B. Evidence for the expansion of the universe comes from the observation of light from distant galaxy. What is the observation? This is because of the redshift. So because the wavelength of light stretches as the universe expands, causing the light to shift towards the red end of the spectrum, which is called as the redshift. Second option, the wheels on a dragging race car having a higher diameter at the end of a race than a beginning. Which of the following is the least important factor contributing to it? The least contributing. The weight of the car is reduced due to fuel consumption? Yes. The tires heat up so the air expansion? Yes. The tires rotate rapidly so the centrifugal forces? Yes. Due to rubber fatigue, the stiffness of the rubber decreases. No, this won't contribute for the change in the diameter of the wheel. So this is the it will, but not as majorly these three factors will be. So this will be contributing the least. Let's check for the next question. 11 balls have radii x centimeter, x plus 1 centimeter to x plus 10 centimeter. Which of the following is true about the volumes of these balls? Okay, so we know, let's consider the volume of these balls being as a sphere be 4 by 3 pi r cube. The median is a set of 11 numbers, and the sixth number, when these all are kept in ordered value, will give us the median. But the mean is the sum of the all divided by the eh, number 11, because there are 11 balls. Since the function of r to the power 3 grows more faster than as r increases in the cases of mean, the correct answer will be the mean is greater than the median. Let's go to the next question. So, a seagull flying 30 meters above the ocean spots a fish swimming 6 meters below the surface. The seagull folds his wings and falls to catch the fish. What is the velocity of the seagull when it hits the surface of the water, assuming no air velocity? Air resistance, sorry. So let's consider that this is the ocean surface. A seagull is here, which is at 30-meter height, and the fish is here at 6-meter depth. So the total distance between the seagull and the fish is 30 plus 6 meters, that is 36 meters. We know v square is equal to u square plus 2gs. From here, v square will be equal to 0 plus 2, consider g to be 10, and s is 36 meters. V square will come to the root 7, sorry, v will come to 720 and v will come as root of 720, which will be equal to 26.83. Let's check upon the option which is more close to this value and is a little lesser value. There were two options which are showing approximately equal value to this value, but we'll choose one in this question. In this type of question, whenever it comes, we choose what is lesser than the estimated value. So that is 24.25. Let's look for the next question. A bacterium is swimming in an isotonic medium. I now added NaCl to a concentration of 100 millimolar. Which of the following point is true? So let's consider that there is a beaker and there is now a bacteria. So if we added the NaCl, the environment becomes now hypertonic. So in the cases of hypertonic medium, the water will flow from the region where its concentration is higher to the concentration where its concentration is low. So it was done that the water will try to get into the body, but the osmotic pressure is opposite to the where the water flows direction will be, that will be towards the inward. Let me make it clear. Our diagram is not that much clear. Okay, see. Consider that this is a beaker. This is filled with water or any acetonic medium. There is the bacterium, and I added now NaCl. As I have added NaCl, this environment becomes hypertonic. As the now being the hypertonic, the water concentration is now higher inside the bacteria and the water concentration is lower in the medium. So the water will flow from the region of its high concentration to the region of its low concentration. That is, the water will go outwards. And we know this is because of the osmotic pressure causing, as the water is flowing outward direction, the osmotic pressure will be pointing towards inwards. So the correct option is option number 1. I have two identical glass beakers, X and Y, full of water. I introduce a concentrated drop of ink into each beaker. I stir beaker Y until the ink concentration is uniform. What can you say about the diffusive motion of the ink molecule? So, we know the diffusion motion of the ink molecule is driven by the random thermal motion of the molecules. Stirring the beaker Y to make the ink concentration uniform does not change the intrinsic diffusion properties, because so the correct option will be option number 1, because the diffusion coefficient is the intrinsic property of that ink. Let's move to the next question. Elon Musk goes cycling on the moon where there is no air resistance. He finds a hill which has a nice smooth slope on one side and a cliff on the other. If he jumps off the cliff, his speed is greater than what he rides to the bottom of the slope, even though the starting height and therefore the potential energy is the same. The cycle has no friction. What is the explanation? So listen carefully. The conversion of potential energy is more efficient if the resulting kinetic energy is along the same vector as the force due to its gravity. When he jumps off the cliff, all of the potential energy converts directly to the kinetic energy along the same vector as the gravitational force is. In contrast, when riding down the slope, the gravitational force is partially counteracted by the normal force from the slope, which means some energy is spent out over a long distance and converted less efficiently into the kinetic energy. The part of the energy goes into rotating the wheel, causing the bicycle and the elon to move faster when falling freely off the curb. So this option number is a little partially correct, but the correct option, the best suited explanation will be option number D. The wheels of the bicycle acquire kinetic energy when he rides down the cliff. I hope you listen the answer carefully. Now let's move to the next question. The Pauli spin matrices are defined here. Which of the matrix has an eigenvector of 1 minus 1 transposon? Now let's check the matrices first. For sigma x will be 1 and minus 1, it will be minus 1, 1. Now for sigma y minus 1 transpose, it will be minus 1, I and I, minus I and I. So minus 1, 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1. So when we say on the sigma x matrix, this value is actually of minus 1 eigen of 1 minus 1. So the correct answer is sigma x matrix. Now next is the chemistry section, which will be solving in the part 3 of the series. I hope you have checked upon the 2024 previous year question, which are already being uploaded on the channel, and the general part 1 of this 2023 paper is also at the channel. Please subscribe the channel to follow more of such previous year question papers. We are hoping to come with the new series of machine learning and Python. We'll see when we can upload that. But till the time, all the best for your exams. Thank you.